we'll do this sometimes with either in a long-term account or even day trading, look for those stocks that we can treat as winners. But you're looking at this as a portfolio of strategies, and you're concentrating your time and your attention capital on those winners that can deliver the big gains. And that's just fascinating. I love that. It's great also how you were able to keep that risk tightened up, and then to adjust it as your losses built up, you tightened it up even further, kind of grind it back up there, and you were able to just grab those big winners and get almost all the way to the top. So that's great. Hello, everyone, and welcome JPat. He is a brand new funded trader on our mini buying power account. That is the 20K account. And we're going to take a look at his trades and just talk a little bit about process. So welcome. Great to meet you. And yeah, how was this? Let's see. When was that you actually wrapped this up here? Was that on the 11th, it looks like?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it looks like Friday, right about noon there. 11:55 a.m. was the last trade there. So how long did that take you overall? It looks like September 17th. Okay. So you took what, 3 weeks? 3 weeks plus?
Yeah, just under a month. I got up to 1,700 a couple of times, and then I just kind of started varying from my strategy, and I just tried grabbing that last $100 in any way I could, and it actually kind of set me back a couple of days.
There have been enough times where I've actually had been like $10, $20 away from a target for the day, and just like, I'm just gonna get that bit, or like one ticker out of the like 5 or 10 I traded in the day was red. I'm like, I want them all green. And then, chasing that $20, like $1,000 goes by quicker than you'd
it's just that little mental goal that I had to get over.
Yeah. Cool. So let me ask this actually. You mentioned from your habits or your rules. So had you been trading before? Was this your first time trading, or what was your trading journey prior to Trade the Pool?
I entered the markets in 2016. Not knowing anything, just kind of investing with like $500. And I actually had a broker that would only let me buy on the close.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I was just kind of throwing money at names that I knew, and then I quickly realized, all right, this is not getting me anywhere. So I actually found.
And did you start that? Were you intending that to be as just sort of a long-term investment, just kind of grow that savings, or was your goal to try to do some swing trading there?
Yeah, I was a couple years removed from college. So at that point, I was just kind of thinking about my future. And I just from hearing that I need to start long-term investing, I kind of just wanted to dip my toes in the water. And then I used to be a teacher, so I had my summers free. And so I transitioned from the summer to just started learning, started reading. I got with a broker that would actually let me trade intraday, because I quickly found out that buying on the close wasn't the most efficient way. And then I found TipRanks, I found Stockwits, and from there it kind of opened my eyes to intraday trading. I didn't really ever intraday trade until just recently.
Oh, really?
I was more of a positional swing trader.
Okay, but you just had the freedom to enter like in the middle of the day rather than at the close,
and take my stops. Yeah.
Yep.
So for the first 2 years, I was not profitable. I mean, I was just kind of trying to chase alerts on Stockwits. I found all of the gurus, all the pumpers, and I would make some money in my first 2 years, but then I would lose most of it. So after 2 years of just kind of continually downtrending, I realized that this is something I actually loved, but that I had to figure it out.
Yep.
It wasn't until 2018 where I became an actual break-even trader. So the first 2 years I was downtrending. 2018 to 2019, I became break-even trader, and then I think 2020 I became profitable in my personal account, which, I mean, I think everybody started to become profitable in 2020. So looking back, I thought I finally figured it out, but it wasn't until I got humbled in end of 2021 to 2022, where
hey, for me it was the reverse. It was it was the same but the opposite. It was like, made money unless you were like me and thought you knew better than the market, and so you started trying to short the top, and also humbled, one way or another. You have to learn that lesson. So
yeah.
Cool. And so what did you end up? Did you end up still doing the same strategy? You just kind of refined your approach to it, or did you switch gears? You mentioned it wasn't until was it Trade the Pool that was the first time trying the intraday, the day trading, or?
Yeah, so if I had a position that was going in my favor in my personal
Mhm.
account, I was only longing.
Yep.
And so I would take some gains, some profits intraday, but I
Mhm.
was under PDT. So
Mhm.
at that point, I could only do that 3 times a week.
Yep.
And so I wouldn't really like doing that. And I generally tried holding my positions until the move was completely over. So
Yep.
I would be in trades from less than a day to a week or two, depending on the market. And then I recently, with Trade the Pool, I wanted
Mhm.
to start taking a different approach and actually, because I've never ended my trading day with all positions closed.
Oh,
So my
interesting.
first,
Yeah.
yeah, so my first
It's a different approach
evaluation,
for sure. It forces you to be kind of disciplined and.
yeah, it was a completely different ball game. And my first evaluation, I tried the swing trading account because that's what I was
Mhm.
coming from. That was my approach, just
Mhm.
finding the little opportunities and dips and kind of trying to buy them back up. But then with Trade the Pool, I was kind of realizing that I was only trading my, I was trading my pretty much the same way of my as my personal account. So at that point,
Mhm.
I was actually looking for a way to take my mind off of my personal account and let my personal account kind of work on its own. So at that point, I switched and kind of trying to find opportunities that were set up perfectly for intraday and
Mhm.
just kind of be a little more active. And so I actually went completely opposite of what I do in my personal account. My personal account is only long, looking for dip buys in strong names like Nvidia and Amazon and just the big caps. And now with the day trade account, I am primarily only short and
Mhm.
I'm looking for overextended runners and trying to find where that breaking point is just
Mhm.
to short near the top
Mhm.
and get out before a little pop again because in my opinion tops are processes. So I'm not looking for that
What does
giant
that mean there? Tops or processes? I like that, but.
because if you I mean for an example, one of my bigger stocks in my evaluation phase was
Mhm.
CAPR. If you look
And I
at
can pull up
that,
give me a second. I'll pull up I know what I'll do. I'll pull up a chart of that. Unless you want to, if you want to share your screen, you can do that as well. However you want to do that. If you're
um,
able to pull it up and point to what you're thinking of, or. All right, cool. So I'll just, I'm going to pop myself off the stage if you want to talk through this real quick, and then I'll pop back on just to.
so basically what I'm looking for, that initial thrust, I wasn't really interested in. The second thrust, I really started putting it on my watch list. And that third
Mhm.
thrust was essentially when I started really getting interested in. And before I enter a stock, I make sure to go through all the different levels that I kind of pinpoint as key levels in the stock's history. Because when I found my mentor in 2020, which he really gave me a good insight into the way stocks move, he really believes that stocks have history in their price movements and their price levels. So I go back deep in the stock's history to find anywhere where the stock has consolidated, where it's ran into resistance, where it might find overhead supply. And so I really pinpointed that 23 level. And once it got to that, that's where I'm looking to enter short on that third thrust. Because at that point, the daily RSI was near 90. So I knew at that point that the longs were going to eventually have to start taking some profits. And when I say tops take processes, I'm referring to I'm not looking to take the whole move down. I'm not looking for that in that drip to zero, basically. I'm just looking to get in near the high of a green candle one of those thrusts and write it down to another key level. And then I'll take my profits. I'll be happy with what I made and wait for another opportunity. So you see it ran from 23 to, and then it dropped back down to 18. So I don't know if I caught that whole move, but I caught a lot of the move. And then I kind of was happy with my performance, and I just waited for that setup to occur, because at the tops, or the near term tops, or the short term tops, however you want to say it, it's gonna drop, and then I usually see another thrust. And at that point, when I think the stock is a little bit tired, those thrusts are going to reach all time, or reach that high, just short or just above, and then I'll expect another drop. And so I kind of, once I started learning a stock, I like to play it over and over. So there was multiple opportunities, and that's why I like to kind of stick with one stock until I see burnout, until it starts fading to the point where, all right, this stock needs a rest, and the overall move is over. And now it's kind of, I missed the short on it the day before, but it's definitely still on my radar because it's still up near the highs, and it hasn't really made that crack.
Cool. Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch this one. I'll have to look into it myself. So real quickly here, we've got your account history up as well on this eval. So it looks like you went from the start, kind of brought it up, got to about that, what is it, right around the $500 or $300 mark, came back down a little below your entry, kind of rode it up again, got up to 400, back down, and just kind of chopped around. And then on the 30th, you took a hit that actually took you back down, so minus 500. And then just kind of grinding it up. And then you had like boom, 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 just some real good trades that brought you closer to the top. So what was this journey like for you? Was this just where you were kind of adjusting to doing day trading, like you said? Or I noticed you kept it. It's not like it was like up and then down, way down here. It was like, you're keeping it in that range pretty much. And it looks like once you got down here, you kind of even tightened your risk even more a little bit, which is great. So
yeah. So I mean, the first week or so, it was just kind of getting used to the platform, just getting used to shorting stocks. I've never traded like this before, but I was taking my same principles.
Okay. Oh, so you were long only, and then you flipped to, did you flip to just both sides, or did you flip to mostly shorting?
In my eval, I did a little bit of both sides, but from kind of tracking my trades, I was realizing that I was losing more than I was winning when I was trying to trade the big caps on dips. And so at that point, coming out of my eval, I made it a rule for myself, until I can comfortably become profitable in just shorting, because that was where most of my wins were occurring, that I'm just going to take that play out of my playbook for now, until I get a little bit of a comfortable lead with my account, and then I will start to kind of tinker and try and figure out how to make that play work for me. So I was more profitable on the short side, and I saw it in my own trading history. So that first week or two, I was kind of just figuring out what's working for me, how do I do this intraday trading, and then from there, once I got down to the negative 500, I just really had to. I didn't want to restart the eval. I just kind of buckled in and started taking some base hits, and then from there was a big spike in my P&L, just like from 1 or 2 days, because I had a couple big winners that set up perfectly. I waited for my entries, and then I just played that stock over and over for the next 2 days, and it got me close to it. And then I tried trading Tesla, big size. I was playing TSLL, and it was one of the big drops on Tesla, and I just tried getting in on the kill candle a little too early. And took a big loss on it, which sent me from 1700 to 1400. And so I had to get back to my strategy of, let's just start shorting overextended runs and get back to the bread and butter. So in my funded account now, I'm just short selling as of right now.
One thing I'm struck by is like, I talk sometimes about doing like TA on your P&L, right? Like looking at it as a chart, and we'll do this sometimes with either in a long-term account or even day trading, look for those stocks that we can treat as winners. But you're looking at this as a portfolio of strategies, and you're concentrating your time and your attention capital on those winners that can deliver the big gains. And that's just fascinating. I love that. So that's really cool. And it's great also how you were able to keep that risk tightened up, and then to adjust it as your losses built up, you tightened it up even further, kind of grind it back up there. And as you said, that patience, then there you were ready, and you were able to just grab those big winners and get almost all the way to the top. So that's great. So yeah, how's that? What's next for you? What do you see on your trading journey coming up now?
Well, I just want to kind of grind out my funded account and try and get myself back up. I took a stupid loss yesterday, or 2 days ago. No, it was yesterday, by leaving a limit order open when I took my kids to school, because I was trading pre-market before the market, and I had 2 good winners, and then I just left the limit order open, and on my way to take the kids
intentionally
to school,
like, or
no, unintentional. Unintentionally. I was trying to be done until I got back to the screen, and just left that open. It was in VS, so obviously once that opened, the squeeze happened. So I got back to, I checked my phone, and all of a sudden my account was limit. I had the daily loss limit.
Oh man, that's tough.
So it was a bigger loss than normal too, because I just made almost $300, and then I got squeezed for 600. So then obviously I took the $600 loss.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've taken big losses before. It doesn't really, I mean, it phases me because for about 10 minutes, but then it's just shake it off. We've done this before. Let's get back on the horse, and we got to grind some winners out before we can build that loss back up.
Yeah, I've got confidence in you. From everything you've shown so far, you've got the skill to do that. And yeah, just for you and for other traders, you can also put on the desktop client, at least, you can, that summary bar at the top, you can actually drag something to have it show your open positions and orders. And you can have a panel with your open orders. So often I'll just sort of reflexively hit like, cancel all. I've definitely been there. You step away, and, your attention gets diverted, and before you know it, it's been a little longer than you thought. And, an event comes up, an open or news thing. So, but yeah, well, thank you so much for taking us through that and sharing it with us. And yeah, great to see you on the Discord. I'm sure we'll see you more, and look forward to chatting with you more on your trading journey.
Yep. I appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.